camper with me at any time? No, there's one. Not a camper of mine, a camper with me. There's at least one. Okay? Okay there? Now, are there, how many campers that were campers, people here who were campers of mine in camp? Okay?
They come back?
All right, you can't tell that story. How many people here were with me as trail participants on canoe trips? You can't tell those stories. How many people were with me when I was a staff person as a counselor? Okay, can't tell that story. Okay, how many people here were staff of mine when I was director? Okay, that's right. What a group. When I first started Studholme, said there are, sir. Yeah, it used to be sir. Studholme said, Punch, there are 4 ways of dealing with the future. Try to ignore it, try to predict it, try to control it, try to respond to it. Stick with control it, he said. It's very good, very good. Control. Hamilton would tell you to say respond to it, but he says control it. It works well. This is the camp of a million memories. And the words that come to mind at this moment are fear, a certain amount of joy, excitement, trust, definitely a certain amount of intensity, thankfulness, friendships, family, and partnerships. Stevens is a living partnership between the past, the present, and the future. The natural environment of camp is the bond between the memories of those who camped here many, many years ago, those who are the present stewards of this facility, of our island, and those who will follow in the generations that come.
Stevens has a very interesting history. As I shared some of it with the staff this spring, it was revived in 1971 when Punch became camp director. I'm not so sure whether or not he's ever regretted that decision, but we were back on the island. They let us back. We had been here briefly in the 60s, 62 to 65, sort of on and off. I was a camper at that time and came on staff in 63. I really hate to sound paranoid, but when I sat down to write this speech, I began to wonder if this really wasn't all a big plot, because I had this vision of some of the guys sitting around down there at Central Line saying, they want back on this island, don't they? Okay, we'll let them on. We'll give them the last 2 weeks of August. Let's give it to them. They'll never survive. They'll be here 1 year, maybe 2 at the most, and they'll be gone. Yeah. Even to this day, old-timers refer to cold, wet, miserable weather that's been brought on by 5 days of a continuous east wind as girls' camp weather. I still do, I know. We began in 1971 with 29 campers and 28 staff. Boy, did we run a quality program. We had 1 counselor for every kid. No kid moved anywhere on this island without a counselor. But we must have done something right, because all 29 came back the following year. We increased to 75. And it got bigger and bigger, and I think at that point they thought, oh boy, we've really done something bad here. They're still coming back. We have some really interesting staff at this camp. I used to go out to Manitou and watch and pick out the ones who I figured were enthusiastic. Most importantly, you had to be able to survive cold weather. I'd watch carefully. I'd go out on rainy days and see who was still smiling, and I'd say, oh, would you like to come to girls' camp? And they'd say, oh, good. I'd say, well, it's volunteer. Oh, okay, I'll come. I'll give it a shot. I think about the second year we decided we could pay, so we didn't have as much trouble. Ah, yes, quite a spirited bunch, the staff. I know Joanne Macbeth, at that time Joanne Muirhead, will never admit this, and some of you that know Joanne would probably never believe it of her. But Joanne decided one time, this was in the early 70s, at which time many of the women had just gotten into the burning the bra routine, and so there weren't too many left who were wearing bras, but she decided to make a statement. So she went into the senior staff cabin, took all the bras she could find, filled them with plaster of Paris, let them set overnight, presented them to the staff the following day, sort of a living bra, sort of a living reminder of camp. Many people used them as doorstops for quite a while after that. There was also a secret club. Now, I was from Hell's mold and Punch's mold. I was really into control.